Today, I am going to show you how to do a professional Starlink install of a standard unit from beginning to end. And I am a professional. I do this for a living. I've done about 1,000 of them. I am giving you this information for free. So, please like and subscribe. We filmed this a little while ago. I'm just going to give you a brief intro here. And this is going to be a full instructional video. So if it gets a little boring, just go with it because it's more important that we get all the information out than to rush it and make it more interesting. Okay, so this is a standard kit. This is a mini kit. If you want to know the difference between the two, we have a video on that, which we will link to at the end. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to be using a two-piece aftermarket mount that you get from Amazon. I use these because they're the best one for almost all applications. So this bolts to the dish, and this goes on the house, and then you put the two together. We have a whole video on Starlink mount, so check that out too, because that is very valuable information. So on this install, we're not worrying about the activation. If you need to see how the activation is done, go to our other Starlink installation video that includes activation. This one is going to come pre-activated because it was ordered from Starlink directly. And this is going to be a winter install just because it is winter time. You don't have to pay any attention to that if you don't have snow where you are. It's not relevant just to the fact that I did have to shovel the snow off the roof. But it's a standard shingled roof installation. If you do have a steel roof, we will come back and talk about ice slides after. It's a very serious thing, so don't ignore ice slides because it will end up on the ground if you don't know what you're doing. When we'll come back, we'll talk about whether or not you should and can do it yourself, how much it would cost if you hired somebody to do it. And also right now, the standard units, and I think the minis as well, they're being offered for free as rental units. I know the standard one is for sure. It's going to vary based on where you are. We are in Canada. If you're in Canada, if you use our referral link down below, you can get a free month of service with that. If you're in another country, maybe find somebody that has one and share the referral link because a free month of internet is pretty decent. So you're going to want to take advantage of that. Anyway, here's the video. When we come back, we'll talk about the rest. Okay, so here we are on site. And we're going to do this install of a Gen 3 Starlink standard kit from scratch. Stay tuned after the installation and we'll talk more about what's going on with Starlink and other things, including pricing of installs and stuff like that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to get rid of this. It's the little kickstand that comes with it. You just set it on the ground, but we're not doing that. We're installing it properly. So we get rid of that. It's our instruction manual, power supply, modem / router, 50 feet of cable, and our power cord. Before we get too far along here, I'm just going to say, make sure that you know where the satellites are before you go to do this. So that's our base plate. It's just a dish mount. It's just the top of the dish mount that mounts to the dish itself. This is our J-arm. And then we have a bag of bolts. And for some reason, a brad point wood drill bit. I guess for putting these in concrete. Maybe they think you're going to put it into wood wall. I don't know. Okay, so we are going to determine which way we want this to go. So that's going to give you more height. And that's going to give you more outwards. So we want more height on this one. So we're going to put this at the bottom. And if you're not somebody who's used to assembling stuff, the easiest way to do it is to take the pieces that you know where they go and put them in and then take them out of the mix. Makes it easier to figure stuff out. Okay, now I don't really think these accomplish much, but these are the little cushions that they give you to go in there. Okay, so now take our cable. We're going to put it through there. Plug it in, make sure it goes all the way in. Then when you put this in, what I do is I just go like that, and I make sure that these holes have lined up with those little cushions in there, because if you don't get it in all the way, it might fall off. And when you screw these in, it keeps it from going that way, but also pushes up on it so it wedges into place. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, for the ease of assembly, is I'm going to, in this case, use my number 12 because it's Chinese. I'm just going to snug this down a little bit, just so I can still move it, but it doesn't want to flop around. And then this one, I'm going to basically try to duplicate the angle of that kickstand, which is something like this. Now, after it's installed, if that angle is not correct, the Starlink app will tell you that, in which case you can adjust it and then lock it back down. But for right now, that's what we want. Okay, so next step we're gonna do is mount the arm. Okay, so yeah, here we are, winter time. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna put it. Not gonna get too carried away here, but I do want this sitting on shingles. And by the way, if you have a steel roof, do not put it here because it will end up on the ground. We'll talk about that later. So I'm just gonna take this. Now, because we're putting this on the roof, even though we are over top of the soffit and it can't possibly leak into the house, I have put putty on the base plate, and I've just used this duct seal, which I got at the electrical section of the Home Depot. So now I'm just gonna stick the base plate like this and get out my impact gun that has absolutely no end of it. I bet you my end is laying in the snow. So typically I don't have the box of electronics sitting below the roof when I'm doing an install. So yeah, I kind of dumped all the snow from the roof into there. That'd be okay though, but yeah, don't do that. Okay, now I'm back with my bit that I conveniently left on the ground. So I'm gonna use roofing washers as well. I'm gonna go right through the putty, and that's gonna drive the putty into the hole with the screw to seal it up real nice. Do not over torque it. Okay, now that is not going anywhere. So next up, we are going to level the arm-ish. Does not be perfect. Crank it right down, and it does pinch the pipe in a little bit. That's okay. This is not a great mount, but it's definitely fine for a Starlink. Okay, so there's our base plate mount. Done with the torch. Leave the impact gun right here for when we got to do the top part. So now all I got to do, stick this on here. I'm going to aim it relatively in the right direction and then snug these down a little bit, because that's going to have to be adjusted later. Okay, now we're going to go drill the hole and run the wire, and then we'll come back out and finish up the outside part. Okay, so here we are inside. We're going to pick our location for putting the hole in. We're going to put it in this corner right here because there's going to be a chair that sits here and it's going to cover everything up. So I'm going to take minimum 3/4. This one is a 3/4. So we're going to go above the baseboard. We know there's a support right there, so we're going to be over here a little bit to hopefully miss all of the studs. Okay, and we did. So now I'm just going to push it through. Okay, so now we're just going to straighten out our cable as much as we can. It's cold, so it doesn't want to be very cooperative. So I don't know if you can tell from the video, but when I hit the siding, I stopped putting pressure on, and I drilled fast, but I put very little pressure on it. It kind of melted its way through. Because if you push too hard on that, you'll break it out, and then that's going to be a bad time. So now we got insulation in there. So we just kind of gotta hopefully get us a direct path through. Sometimes this is the worst part of the day, but hopefully we won't have to do this, but I'll just explain it. Sometimes I'll have to tape this on here, and then I can plow that through and then just pull it in. But we'll see if we can get it in there without that. And twisting the cable, put it in a different spot. If it's in the wall and I'm twisting it, you can see that the cable is moving, so you have more chance of hitting the hole. First try. Okay, so we're gonna take as much as we want inside, which is probably only gonna be about 2-3 feet, and then we're gonna clip it. Right now I'm gonna go plug it in to let it fire up so we can do the adjustment on it. We got our cable in there, everything's plugged in on the inside. We got about 3 feet in there. We're gonna put the rest up at the dish. I'm gonna clip the cable now and plug the hole because I'm letting the dish, get online and do its calibration and stuff like that. Because I have adjusted it before, then 2 minutes later say that it's out of alignment, so I'm gonna give it a few minutes. So we're gonna put in our drip loop to start with. Pull the wire down. So the route we're gonna take here, we're gonna bring it over like this, and we're gonna tuck it up in behind the window edge here. So I'm just gonna have another clip here just to kind of hold it in place. Now for the hole, you can either put silicone in it or you can use our putty. I'm going to use the putty here because silicone has a tendency to kind of fall out before it gets to cure, and also this is the same color as the siding. So I just kind of put it in a form like that and then kind of jam it in there. The way I make sure I plug it entirely. And if you're doing this and it's real cold, just heat it up with the torch. Okay, so now I'm just gonna, I have to lower this ladder so I can work the cable up. Okay, you can put a clip in there. I'm gonna try it without the clip. Just I don't want to put as many. I don't want to put any more holes in the building than I have to. It's probably not coming out of there. It's locked in pretty good. That's a lot of extra cable. Okay, just get one tie on there. Pull it, kind of tight. Lock it down, and then we're gonna put all the excess right here. So we're gonna kind of use the, the folds that it came with and kind of put it back into that shape again. Okay, now very important. Clip the tails off. Makes you look like you do a shoddy job when you don't cut the tails off. Okay, so essentially the install's done. We just have to fine tune the dish. So I'm gonna get my phone out and then briefly explain how to do that. And then we just gotta put the Wi-Fi password in. Okay, so I don't know how well this is gonna show up on camera, but I'm gonna align the dish now. It says that it's off by 10 degrees. So I'm just gonna click on align the dish, and then it shows me the little box. So I just have to turn it so it lines up, and then it will say lined up. We can probably show you some footage of that from another install. But anyway, here I go. Okay, now it says Starlink is aligned, and I'm just making sure that it's even in the box. Now I'm gonna lock it down. That's it for the dish installation. We just gotta set the Wi-Fi down. Okay, so should you do it yourself? Should you hire somebody to do it? It's gonna come down to a comfort level. A lot of people install it themselves. This is why I'm giving you the information. People that hire me don't want to go up on ladders, or they're not capable of going up on ladders, or they don't want to have to deal with anything. So an installation should cost somewhere between $200 to $300. If it's going to be on the high end of that, or even a little bit more, it's better be because you're in a remote area and there has to be a lot of traveling involved. Do not get overcharged for it, because there are people around here that charge over $500 for installs because people are dumb enough to pay it because they got too much money, I guess. Anyway, so having all of this information hopefully will allow you to make wise decisions and not get ripped off. Now, steel roof. If you haven't experienced the damage that an ice slide can do off of a steel roof, basically the snow will build up on it, and then eventually it will melt to the point where it all just goes. So the way to get around that is to put the dish on, let's say the roof is like this. If you put the dish off here, then the ice slide's gonna come down and it's gonna miss the arm. That's okay. The other way is to put it at the top of the roof. If your roof has snow guards on it, which is a lip that goes all the way across that keeps the snow from sliding off, that's gonna help you out a lot too. If you don't have any of that, then like I said, just beware that you don't want the dish to get destroyed, because it will. Okay, so having said all of that, if you want to tackle this yourself, make sure you have all the information that you can. And right now we got it all out there. Like I said, we're gonna link to this one, which one's right for you. We'll link that one right there. We'll link the mount video right there. And we'll link our other install involving the activation right there. Okay, thanks for watching.